Hello students, welcome to the first online class for the academic session 2021 and 22. So today we'll start chapter number 1, that is networking concept, and in this chapter your today's content is computer network and its component, advantages of networking media and wired networking technology. So before going through a computer networks, as you all know that we come across different types of network in our daily life. See, a network of roads means interconnected roads, a network of railway lines, a communication network with the help of a telephone line, a network of banks, a network of ATMs. So similarly, even the computers are connected with each other through a network. Now, what is a computer network? A computer network can be defined as a group of computers and other peripheral devices. Now, by peripheral devices, I mean, say, a printer, a scanners, speakers, those hardwares that are connected with the computers, okay? And basically, they are linked together. What for? For the purpose of sharing data and hardware resources. Now just go to the figure here. In the figure you can see that the computers there are a number of computers that are connected with one another through a network. So among those computers you can see there is one more computer that has only a printer attached to it. Now once the computers are connected into the network, we can share our data, we can share our hardware resources through a single computer as well. Now, as I have already said, that the computer network can be defined as a group of computers and other peripheral devices that are linked together for the purpose of sharing data and hardware resources. So the example has already been given there, that say if one of the computers in the network has a printer, then anyone or any of the computers in the network, they can directly take a printout from a single printer, thus saving the cost of the hardware. Now in this network you can see that there is no need of attaching or connecting a printer to each and every computer. Just the printers can be connected into one of the computers and you can share that printers, and or the printers can be shared by number of computers that can be in the network. Now computer network as a data communication system. So now we will see how the data can be communicated using a computer network from one computer to another computer. Okay, now we can see the image here. Definitely when we are transmitting a data from one computer to another computer, the computer that send the data or transmit the data will be the sender, and the one that receives the data will be a receiver. So when we send the data from one machine to another, you need a proper medium, or what we call a channel, through which the data should get transmitted, and it should be followed with a proper protocol. So by protocol I means a set of rules that are needed to transfer the data communication from one system to another. And those means of communication can be anything, like say it may be with the help of the wireless medium, or it can be with the wired medium. Now data communication system consists of following parts. What are they? Number one is the sender. Okay, sorry, let us start with the message. So message is the information that we need to communicate, and it can contain the text, it can contain the pictures, it can contain the audio or the video clip. Now next is the sender. So sender is a device, it is the computer, okay, or it can be the workstation, it may be the mobile phone as well as, or the tablet, means any kind of device that are used to send the message through a web browser. Now the third one is the receiver. Again, the receiver is a device that receives the data. So similarly, it can be the computer, it can be a workstation, mobile phones, tablets, or anything. Next is the transmission media. So if you don't have a transmission medium, you cannot send the data from a sender to the receiver. So this transmission medium, it is the physical path through which the message will travel from the sender to the receiver. So as I've already said, that this transmission medium can be the wired transmission medium, it can be the wireless. Suppose when I'm talking about the wired, it can be the twisted pair cable, coaxial cable, Ethernet cable, fiber optic cables, or it may be a wireless medium, that is the radio waves, like say Wi-Fi's, Bluetooth, and infrared. And finally, the protocol, that is a set of rules that governs the data communication. So without the protocol, data cannot be exchanged between the communicating devices. So there are sets of protocols, there are sets of rules for doing different works in the computer network. Now let us see the advantages of networking. First is efficient use of storage media. So it is more economical to store the application software on a network drive, that is in the server. So instead of storing the copy of that application in each and every computers. So in this case, what happens is you can save the storage capacity of your hard disk. So what you just need is, it is better to have one big hard disk in the server than to have a small hard disk in the different computers. So as you are already into the network, you can use the files or the say the any kind of data that are stored directly from the main server. Second is preserving information. Say that it is very difficult to maintain the backup of each and every files or each and every app softwares in each and every computers. So in this case, what you need is, you need to keep the backup of your files or your applications in a server computers, so that even if your computers get hanged, okay, if the hard disks of your machine get cracked, there is no need to worry about the losing the information or files from your computer. It's already saved in the server computer, so you can retrieve your files and you can retrieve your applications from the server computer, thus just giving the backup to the main computers without taking the backup for each and every computer, just thus saving the time. Next is reduction in the hardware cost. Now if you are already in the network, so there no need of using the whether it may be the printer or whether it may be the say the scanner for each and every computer. So the printers or scanners can be installed, or it can be attached in one of the computers. So as you are already in the network, so you can share that printer or a scanner for taking the copies of the hard copies of the files or any kind of application. So in this way you can save the cost of the hardware, that is the cost of other printers that can be used for the separate computers. And the next is efficiency. Now sometimes in the network, if you want to delete, modify, or upgrade the software, this should be done only in the single point, that is on the server computers. So in this way you can save the times by not upgrading the data or file in each and every computer. So if your files are saved on the server computers, so it can be modified in the server computer without affecting any other files. And finally, it is the redundancy. So what is the meaning of redundancy? So it is used to reduce the need for the hard copies of all the documents. Suppose say if your suppose you are working in certain companies and you are head of the department. If they want to share some kind of files, if they want to share some kind of notice among you all, so he can directly share the soft copies of all the files over the internet without taking the print out of the hard copies of all the documents and giving to each and everyone. So we can have a redundancy, that is saving the papers by not giving the hard copies of all the document, instead by sharing the soft copies of files over the internet. And finally, the quickest document delivery. So networking provides the facility to instantly deliver the soft copies from one computer to other computers throughout the world. So these are some of the advantages of networking, where you can save your time, where you can save your hardware cost, where there is the redundancy of the data, and there is the quickest document delivery. Now let us go through networking media, means the medium through which we can transfer the data or file within the network. So there are two types of networking media. One is wired networking technology and another is a wireless networking technology. Now let us go through wired networking technology. Now first is the Ethernet cables. Second is the coaxial cable, and the third one is optical fiber cable. And some of the wireless technology, networking technologies that are used are Bluetooth, infrared technology, and a Wi-Fi technology. So today we will just go through the wired networking technology, and in the next session we will go with the wireless networking technology. Now first let us start with the Ethernet cable. So the Ethernet cable is one of the most popular form of the network cable used in the wired network, and it is especially used in the LAN network. So you can see in the figure, this is the figure of Ethernet cable. And Ethernet cable connects, it is used to connect with the various devices such as the PC. It can also be connected with the router and with the switches within the local area network. The advantage of this cable is that they have a very less power consumption, but it has its one drawback, that is it should have a Ethernet adapter card. That is, it need a Ethernet adapter card on the motherboard to connect the Ethernet cable. So this is the Ethernet adapter card, but nowadays this Ethernet adapter cards come with the motherboard. It's get directly attached with the motherboard. Now next is the coaxial cables. So in the transmission of videos, communication, signals, and audio. So this is the example or the figures of the coaxial cable. All of you may be aware of this coaxial cable because this coaxial cable is commonly used in the cable television network, where it is used to connect the TV to the cable TV services. Now we have one more figures of the coaxial cable showing the different parts of it, starting with the copper wire, the innermost, that is the copper wire that is used to send the message signals, and this copper wire is covered with the insulators, and again offside the insulators what you can get is this, we call it as a braided wire. Okay, it is a sealed one, and again you will have the offside insulator. So coaxial cable consists of central power wire that is surrounded by insulators and then the sealed up braided wire. Okay, finally it is the optic fiber cable. So the most common example is the geofibers that we are using nowadays. So optic So the fiber optic is a popular technology that is the larger capacity to transfer data at a very high speed. You can transfer the data at a very high speed using the optical fiber cable. So this is the image of the optical fiber cable where the data are transmitted with the help of a light. Now optic fiber cable, it consists of the central glass core, okay, that contains a bundle of glass thread surrounded by several layers of protective materials. Now if you go through this figure, you can see that this optic fiber, it consists of the glass core rod, okay, there is a glass core, uh, and inside the glass core you will get a bundles of glass threads that are used to transmit the data with the help of a light rays. And it has a it has several protective layers or materials for each and every glass thread, and outside you will have a cladding there, and finally a plastic coating to protect the fiber. The glass threads are capable of transmitting data converted into the light signals at a very extremely high speed. So this is all in today's video. So in this video you have learned about the computer networking, about how the data can be transmitted from one computer to another computers, and advantages of networking, and the wired networking technology in networking media. So this is all in today's video. Thank you, children.